There are 6 psychological gifts that consistently come from someone who secretly hates you, and Carl Jung warned us about every one of them. Before getting into these patterns, it's important to understand one thing: this kind of resentment is rarely obvious. When someone attacks you openly, the threat is clear and easy to identify. You defend yourself and step away. But covertly toxic people, a manipulative friend, a resentful relative, or a hidden narcissist, don't act so directly. Jung's work on the human psyche explains that these individuals operate from what he called the shadow, the unconscious parts of themselves they refuse to face. The gift they give you appears harmless, even caring. In reality, these gifts are psychological tactics meant to unsettle you, weaken your self-trust, and trap you in ongoing self-questioning. The final gift is the most dangerous of all. Jung described it as especially destructive because it convinces you that you are the problem. Once you recognize these 6 behaviors, the illusion collapses. You stop replaying conversations late at night, searching for your mistake. You stop chasing validation from someone who secretly wants you dead. Jung discovered that every person carries a shadow, the denied, unconscious aspects of the self. When people fail to integrate this shadow, they project it onto others. This is the key to understanding hidden hatred. Someone who secretly hates you is not just rude or jealous. They are displacing their own shame, insecurities, and disappointments onto you. And because acknowledging that hatred would destroy their self-image as a good person, they disguise it behind socially acceptable behavior. As Jung once said, the shadow doesn't vanish, it just becomes more sophisticated in how it expresses itself. These 6 gifts are sophisticated expressions of unresolved resentment. Gift 1: Projected limitation. Jung discovered that those who haven't confronted their shadow instinctively try to destroy others. This often shows up when you share a meaningful goal, starting a new career, pursuing a creative vision, or making a major life change. Instead of support, they offer concern that sounds reasonable but feels discouraging. They might say, "That sounds risky," or, "I just don't want you to get hurt." Most people don't succeed at that. According to Jung, this isn't caution, it's projection. They're not worried about your failure. They're threatened by your potential success. Your growth forces them to confront their own lack of movement. Jung referred to this as a psychological contamination, where unresolved inner conflict spreads into another person's mental space. The doubt they plant is not about your ability, it's about their fear. And here is the remedy: Jung suggested honoring your individuation, the personal journey of becoming who you truly are. Protect your dreams carefully, and don't expose them to people who haven't healed their inner fractures. Gift 2: Emotional inconsistency. Jung explained that manipulation often operates through emotional contradiction, and this pattern captures it perfectly. At times, this person is warm, attentive, and responsive. You feel important, seen and valued. Then suddenly, they withdraw. Messages go unanswered. Love disappears. Their presence turns distant and cold, leaving you scrambling to understand what happened. Jung believed this behavior is intentional. It creates a power imbalance fueled by the shadow's hunger for control. By keeping you uncertain, they tether you emotionally to their approval. You begin chasing moments of warmth that arrive unpredictably. This dynamic forms what psychology now calls trauma bonding, where the nervous system becomes conditioned to cycles of connection and withdrawal. But Jung made one thing clear: this inconsistency is not caused by you. It reflects their internal disarray, the conflict within a psyche that hasn't been integrated. True connection, Jung argued, requires steadiness and authenticity. When someone keeps you confused, the confusion itself is the message. Gift number 3: Disguised contempt. Carl Jung observed that when the shadow can't express itself openly, it often speaks through passive aggression. This third gift shows up as compliments with a hidden sting, remarks crafted to hurt while still sounding harmless. They might say, "You're so confident to wear that. I could never." What they really mean, "You look foolish." Or, "I admire how you don't worry about what people think of your work." Translation: your work is not very good. Jung found that these disguised insults serve a psychological purpose. The speaker vents their buried resentment while preserving a self-image of being kind and supportive. It is hostility wrapped in politeness, harm delivered with a smile. The most toxic part comes next. If you respond to the insult beneath the compliment, they turn your reaction against you. I was being nice, why are you so sensitive? Suddenly, you're framed as the problem. Jung called this pure shadow projection. They strike first, then make you doubt your perception of being attacked. Your body understands before your mind does. Jung trusted somatic wisdom deeply. If a compliment leaves you feeling smaller instead of uplifted, listen to that signal. Your unconscious has already recognized the shadow at play. Gift number 4, the gift of celebratory silence. Jung once said you can learn everything about someone's shadow by watching how they respond to your success. This fourth gift appears when you win. You get promoted. You fall in love. You reach a goal you've worked toward for years. And this person goes quiet. Jung's work on the collective unconscious suggested that humans are naturally wired for shared joy. When someone can't feel happy for you, it's often because their shadow is saturated with self-loathing. Your success becomes a mirror reflecting everything they resent in themselves. So they ignore it. They downplay it. They shift the focus, or hijack the moment, to talk about themselves. Jung identified envy as one of the shadow's most potent emotions. When it's unacknowledged, it doesn't just hurt internally, it lashes outward. You're subtly punished for triggering it. Watch the pattern. When you're struggling, they show up eager and attentive. Your pain reassures them. But when you rise, silence. That's not a connection. It's an unconscious hierarchy where they need you beneath them to feel secure. Gift number 5, social exile. Jung believed isolation was one of the shadow's preferred weapons. This fifth gift takes the form of understated social exclusion. In group settings, this person makes you disappear. They share jokes you're not part of. They plan gatherings in front of you without including you. They plant subtle doubts about you in the minds of mutual friends. Jung referred to this as psychic murder, the erasure of someone's social presence without physical harm. Exclusion sends a primitive message: this person is outside the tribe. Humans fear exile at a deep, evolutionary level. Once, it meant death. The shadow exploits that fear, hoping you'll accept mistreatment just to remain included. But Jung was clear: people who feel whole don't need to shrink others. They don't build ladders of dominance, they build circles of respect. If someone repeatedly makes you feel like you don't belong, Jung would say they're projecting their own inner exile, the rejected parts of themselves they've pushed into the shadow. Gift number 6, the most dangerous gift. This is the psychological trap Jung warned about most intensely, the one that keeps kind people stuck in destructive relationships for years. Jung called this shadow provocation. The process is calculated. This person knows exactly what unsettles you. They cross boundaries repeatedly, all while remaining calm and composed. They deny your reality, smirk at your distress, and insist nothing is wrong. Eventually, you snap. You yell. You cry. You say things you regret. You finally lose control. And that's the outcome they were engineering. They step back and say, "See how unstable you are. I was just trying to talk." Jung found that projection is the shadow's most refined defense, forcing you to act out the darkness they refuse to face in themselves. You become the villain in a story they designed from the start. You leave feeling ashamed, convinced you're the toxic one. But Jung was unequivocal: this is reactive abuse. No healthy person repeatedly destabilizes another human being until they break. This is the shadow's ultimate win, convincing you that your reasonable reaction to sustained cruelty proves there's something wrong with you. Awareness, Jung believed, is the beginning of freedom. These 6 gifts aren't random. They're signs of someone ruled by an unintegrated shadow who needs you diminished so they can feel powerful. You deserve people who celebrate your growth, respect your boundaries, and don't require your suffering to feel superior. The question Jung would leave you with is this: how long will you keep sacrificing your psychological well-being for someone who has already revealed their shadow?